Guys, tough day. Tough day. This isn't even... Whatever. Listen, we're here to talk about it. It was a bad day. Hold on. We're going to let some people pile in here. We got 3 people in here. Where are the comments at? This is going to be a tough one, huh? It's going to be a bloodbath in here. What up? Shut up, Miller. So you're going to hate my response. You're going to hate my response to this. I don't even know where to begin. We're going to talk about Bama losing to Vandy for the first time in my life. First time in my life. I can tell you're very drunk. Fuck you. Oh, this sucks. Well, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna let it pile in here because I think some people are gonna be fired up, including my girlfriend, who's just fucking hysterical, even though her team has lost 3 times this year. Listen, I want to hear in the comments. You know what sucks more than anything? Well, let's just get this out of the way. Bama beats Georgia. We don't do a fucking podcast. We take the week off. Now we have to record one in general because we need to get back to it. And also, Bama loses to fucking Vandy for the first time in my life. Just wild, man. Just fucking wild. Yeah. All right, so listen, I don't think that Georgia fans especially, because I know you guys are going to pile in here. I don't think you're going to like my response to it. Zach Horton says, all my enemies died today. Let's just get this part out of the way real quick. Imagine losing to the team that lost to Vandy. That's a tough pill to swallow. But listen, Bama lost to Vandy. Tennessee loses to Arkansas. An absolutely historic day in college football. It's the first time 2 top 5 teams have lost to unranked teams in SEC history, which is crazy. You're talking about a conference that goes back 91 years, and you go 0-2, I guess, how you should put it. You guys know I'm a stat nerd and all that kind of stuff. We like, if you think I'm handling the loss poorly, listen, still had to go to work, still had to write multiple articles, make multiple posts for it. Go check out No, we didn't do a reaction show last week, Jake. Make sure you go check out LouisianaSports.net. I wrote multiple things on this game specifically, so I thought it was pretty good. I swear to God, if the internet cuts out during this broadcast, I will lose it. Hold on. Anyway, fuck it. Let's just get into the Bama game. Georgia fan people don't realize how hard it is to get 18. Yeah. How hard it is to get 18, 22-year-olds or 17-year-olds focused week in and week out. That's why Saban's the GOAT. Here's the thing no one's talking about. Diego Pavia is 16, and that's not something that we have brought up enough, I think, so far. Listen, if you watch the Bama game, we'll talk about it now. If you watch the Bama game, if you didn't see that coming, I know that Trip Jordan was pulling his little bullshit. All the people in our group chats are doing the same bullshit. It was like, oh, they're going to win this game. Fuck off. You did not want us to win that game. And that's fine. That's fine. But it was one of those things where it's like if you watched it, it was Abnell Boot says Ryan Williams is the youngest player to lose to Vandy. He's only 17. That's good. That is good shit talk. But if you watch the game, it was very, very obvious that like of what Bama, how they were playing, that they were gonna lose that game. They go down 7-0 early, they get gashed, then they throw the pick six, they go back down and score. I think it was like 13-7. Well, it was 13-7. Now keep in mind, just a little peel behind the curtain here. I'm having to watch South Carolina Ole Miss because I'm covering South Carolina for Locked On South Carolina. I'm also watching Bama, but like ideally I wanted to watch Bama, South Carolina, Auburn, Georgia. So I couldn't watch any of the Georgia game because of the way YouTube TV was set up. But I'm watching the South Carolina game like closely because it's like going down to the end of the first half, and there's a lot of shit going on. But Bama gets the first sign that you could tell that shit was not going well today for them was Vandy punted twice on a possession. And in that same possession, they ended up scoring a touchdown because Bama had 3 to 4 total penalties on that drive. I think it was 3. I don't know if it was 3 or 4. 3 or 4 total penalties that on third down that turned into first down for Vandy. Like just shit you can't do. And listen, penalties, especially on the road, are not something that are new to Alabama. Like that was a problem that plagued them under Saban. You saw 2021 against Auburn, they set a program record for total penalties, I think, in a game. Then they go into Texas in week 2 of 2022. Remember that game? They had 15 penalties for 100 yards. They had 10 for something in the first half, right? That was a program record for most. Then they go to Tennessee a couple weeks later. They had 17 for 129. This has not been something new to Bama about getting a bunch of Nathan Crane, welcome in, brother. It's like it's not something new to Bama, but it was something that plagued them today. And I tell you what, I'm not gonna sit here and shit on DeBoer at all because I don't blame him for that loss. The offense was fine. The offense ran 44 plays. Like, listen, I'm telling you, just do me a favor. Personally, do me a favor. Go to LouisianaSports.net and read the articles that I put up today. I did a numbers to know. I did a deep dive. You guys fucking know Andrew Miller time. You guys know I love a deep dive. Some crazy historical numbers. We'll get into them on here during the live, but I mean, just an insane amount of self-inflicted wounds. And then the other part was you couldn't get off the fucking field. Like Vandy beat you. This wasn't like a kick six, Hail Mary type bullshit. This was Vandy beat you. Like they had the ball for 42 minutes. 42 minutes. They came up with play after play after play. I mean, they outgained you. Now, listen, Vandy ran the ball 54 times. Vandy had 10 more running plays than Bama had total plays the whole game. Bama was held to 44 total plays. That's the fewest amount of plays they've run in a game offensively in the last 10 years. It's only the second time since 2018 against Citadel when they were held to under 50 plays. I mean, they had 44 plays. They still put up 400 yards. I mean, they were efficient on offense. Jalen Milroe had 320. Here, I'll pull up the stats. He had 320 total yards, 310 passing. He had 310 passing on 24 total attempts, 18 and 24. Milroe was 75%. But Diego Pavia, give credit where credit's due, man. It's awesome. Like it was awesome to watch. 16 of 20, 252 for 2 touchdowns. I don't even know what the fuck he did on the ground, but it had to be something. Jesus Christ. He had 56 yards. Diego Pavia had 308 total yards and 2 touchdowns. He becomes, here's a stat for you. You ready for this? He becomes the second quarterback. Oh, Alex is yelling. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that's fine. So I don't want to repeat this person's name because it's a very triggering name, I think, to some people right now. But I'll post it at the bottom. It's a really good point. UGA and Bama have opposite offensive issues. We're only good at 5-yard plays and have no explosives. Bama's elite at explosives, but struggles in just getting 5 yards. Miller Time says, "Go Dogs, Allie." But here's the thing. Here's a stat for you. This is another stat. Just listen. Sometimes it just fucking happens. Sometimes it just fucking happens. No. Bama I'm sorry, Diego Pavia becomes the second quarterback, becomes the first quarterback to complete over 80% completion percentage with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions against a number 1 ranked team. Becomes the first quarterback to do that since, say it with me, class, Steven fucking Garcia did it in 2010. Same shit. You know, the defense couldn't get off the field, but I don't even blame them as much. They get 418 total yards. They couldn't get off the field in key moments. They couldn't defend the shuttle pass. Why am I drawing a blank on that? I've had some drinks. Shuttle pass. I am drawing a complete fucking blank. Shuffle pass. Shovel. Ugh, I was 0 for 2. Anyway, but shuffle or shuttle pass. It's just, yeah, thank you, Nathan Crane. Diego Pavia does own the state. Someone says, I know you're trying to act cool. It's okay to cry. DeBoer can get his team prepared to beat anyone they play, but he's too emotional for his team. They'll be more up and down. Okay. So, and here's the other thing too is, and Georgia fans, you're not going to like this. Okay. I'm having a hard time being super upset about it. One, maybe just because I'm older and it's whatever. I've never seen Bama lose to Vandy in my life. Maybe that's also a part of it. Maybe I haven't been able to fully process it yet because I've literally never seen it happen. Right. It is crazy that they lost to Vanderbilt. But honestly, at the end of that game, they deserve to be. They deserve to lose that game the whole time. So, and I just thought it was. I thought as much as it sucked as a Bama fan, and it'll suck, I guess. Like on social media and stuff. I don't fucking know, but like, it's a 12-team playoff. DeBoer just beat Georgia. The resume is still built. Like, this isn't like, oh my God, they're a 1-loss team trying to get into the BCS national title and they lost to Vanderbilt. Like, bro, Coach Riggendorf makes up maybe the best point. He says, what about DeBoer's discount rack Walmart medium shirt? That shit was disgusting. The fucking shirt that he wore on the sideline is for the first time made me feel like he didn't get it. But yeah, I'm having a hard time being super bummed about it. I thought it was pretty cool for Vandy. I thought it was awesome to see Diego Pavia. I thought it was awesome for Clark Lee. Shout out Evan Grimes. I don't know if he's here. Troll of the Century sent me and Tyler a thing. He's like, hey guys, you cashed on your Vandy bet over 2.5 wins, which I thought was hilarious. Hobnail Boot, as much as me and him have argued on Twitter, he says it's also his first year. Yeah, I mean, Georgia lost to Vandy their first year under Kirby. And like, I'm not trying to make excuses because you can't really excuse a loss to an unranked team. It's only the second time it's happened in 123 games, I think, for Vandy. Trip Durden says, somebody said DeBoer looks like he's always running late and just bought the only thing he could find to wear at Walmart. Yeah. But, the good news is if you're Bama, it's like, Georgia fans, don't take this the wrong way, or do. I don't give a shit. You beat Georgia a week ago. The resume is already built. Graham Coffey, but no, I guarantee you Graham Coffey did not bet on Vandy and Tennessee. That's fucking bullshit. There's no fucking chance. There is no chance Graham Coffey bet on Bama losing and Arkansas to lose, or Bama losing and Tennessee to lose. Yeah, I tell you what, there's a better chance that Graham Coffey, and I love you to death, Graham, if you're paying attention and you're watching, there's a better chance that Graham Coffey says something negative about Georgia ever, than he would actually placing that bet. And that's all I have to say about that. Love you, Graham. Nathan Crane. Yeah. Either way, I thought it was a really impressive job from Clark Lee. They took it to Bama. And here's the scary thought if you're Bama. Here's the actual scary thought. If you if you were watching that game, at one point Bama was up 35, or they were down. They were never up in that game, 40-35. They were down. They're driving. They're on the ball. I think on Vandy's side of the ball, and they get sacked. It's not his blind side, but he obviously Miller never saw it coming. Gets hit, fumbles. Vandy recovers the ball. Here's the thing: if Bama scores there and goes up, is there any Bama fan here or anyone watching that game objectively that thinks, well, if Bama scores there and goes up 42-40, or say they go for 2, right? And it's 43-40. Does anyone here think that Vandy doesn't go down the field and get it within field goal range? And at least field goal range for them was at the 40-yard line. It immediately felt like there was like too much time. Bama running this is also a good point. Bama running a wild reverse to get a 2-yard touchdown on 4th and 1 just felt so strange. Normally they would look at Vandy's line, they fall over and walk in the end zone. Normally it's we are bigger and stronger and we will just run it straight in. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of a sign of the times, not only this team, but in general. Like, there's no way Saban would have done that. Like, if you saw it, they lined up under center, like they were going to do like a tush push type thing. And he was like, it was like 1.5 yards. It was way too far to do that, in my opinion, but I think he would have scored. Vandy gets the timeout. Then they come back in shotgun. They run the reverse. Kudos to them for drawing up a good play, to be honest. Like, I thought that was great and necessary, because I don't know if it would have worked otherwise. But I mean, there are flaws on this team. Yeah, should have kicked an onside kick. I think that's a good point too. The defense could not get stops when they needed it most. It was, and I tell you what was weird too was it felt like, and maybe I'm overreacting when I say this. Jesus, Cam Ward all day to throw. Maybe not. It felt like Bama was in 2nd and 10, like a first down. They were getting like no gain, like 1 yard gains to like 2-yard losses, like the whole game, right? So you're in like in 2nd and 10, 2nd and 12, and then it felt like it was constantly 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1, constantly. I mean, let's go through some of these stats, okay? I'm gonna give you my numbers to know here from this deep dive I did. All right. Bama came into this game allowing shut up, Hop No Food. 16.9% on 3rd down. 16.9% 3rd down conversions for Bama's opponents. It led the entire country. They'd allowed 11 total conversions this season. 11 total. Vandy was 12 of 18 on 3rd down. They were 9 of their first 12. It was insane. Here's another crazy stat. 3 total punts forced by Bama's defense in the last 16 possessions, dating back to the second half of the Georgia game. 3 total punts you forced in the last 16 possessions from your opponents. Bama, I already told you they only ran 44 total plays. 31. How about this? Vandy ran 31 more plays than Vandy on Saturday. They ran 75 total. Bama was only able to run 44. Which factors into the other part of this. And we saw this last week with Kentucky beating Ole Miss, right? This is the blueprint to beat teams like this. Bama had the ball for 17 minutes and 52 seconds. 17:52. Now, I could not find time of possession stats game by game. Somebody else, if you can find them, let me know. Send them to me. I know they came in averaging over 30 minutes per game holding the football, but 17:52 feels like it has to be a low for quite some time. Quite some time. Numbers to know: 2. This is Bama's second loss to Vandy in the last 54 years. 23 is Vandy snapped a 23-game losing streak to Bama. It's the first time in 40 years they beat them, which is first time in my lifetime. Vandy ran the ball 54 times on Saturday against Bama. That is the most in 57 games. The last time anyone did that was Ole Miss in 2020. Oh, someone's upset. They're going to bed. I'm screaming, she said. Okay, here's a bad one, okay? 3 total losses by number 1 ranked teams to unranked opponents when scoring 35 plus points. Teams were 364-2 in that scenario before Bama's loss on Saturday. Teams that were ranked number 1 in the country were 364-2 against unranked teams when scoring 35 points or more. 364-3 now. Here's a tough one. Here's a number to know: 2 Total number of goalposts that have found their way into the fucking rivers of Tennessee against Alabama in the last 3 years. Dude, credit Vandy, man. They ripped down that fucking goalpost and then drug it through the streets down Broadway into the river. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. It's a wild season. It's a long season. This is the 6th week of the season. It's the 6th straight week you've had at least one upset of an underdog in the SEC, and obviously a big underdog that you saw here. I don't know, man. It was a wild day. It's just like your kid doing something bad at the church. Yeah, I'm not even embarrassed. I'm just disappointed. I tell you that it's too early to tell, because I was sitting there talking to my mom this morning. I was like, dude, what if we just fucking, I didn't say, dude, what if we fucking, to start my sentence because it was my pastor mother, but I was thinking, I was like, what if Bama just hired the next Saban? Like, what if DeBoer is like the guy? Because you were undefeated and you had just beaten Georgia and they looked great on the road against Wisconsin. Like, there's just, but this is obviously a big setback. The nightmare scenario here for Bama, and then also I think for college football fans. So Bama has Oklahoma still on the road, Auburn at home, which I'm not super concerned about. At Tennessee's going to be a nightmare. At LSU will be tough because, you guys know I love that LSU stat about Bama's lost there 6 times in the last 57 years. But that'll be a tough game, right? That'll be a tough game. If they go 9-3, but they beat Georgia, I feel like they're in. That's just me. If they go 9-3 and lose out on the college football playoff because they lost to Vandy, that's an inexcusable thing to have happened in Kalen DeBoer's first season, especially after the win you had the week before. So I like what Jake Reagan said, man. People overreacting about DeBoer 2 weeks in a row. Got to let the whole season pan out before I make a judgment on him. I think that's fair. Hobnob Boot says, with NIL and transfers, are top programs too thin of the depth chart to lose time possession battle? I don't know. I think that's weird about this is the fact that, like, with Bama, people immediately went to the whole, this is the most talented roster in the history of college football. Bro, Bama lost 41 players to the portal. 41. And that ranking, which I love rankings and shit like that and stuff to be able to reference and numbers and all that, blah, 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 blah. Like, if that ranking is based off of high school rankings only. So it's like, think about all the 5-stars that don't start, right? Which has happened a lot of Bama the last couple of years for whatever reason. It's like 2021. But, like, if you lost 41 players, the exchange rate, especially from high school rankings, of what Bama has brought in versus what they have taken in the portal is nowhere close. It's nowhere close. So, I don't think this is the most talented roster in the history of college football. I think anybody watching it would say it's not the most talented roster in college football history. It's probably not the most talented Bama roster. I don't think it's more talented top to bottom than 2022. I don't think it's better than 2019. It might be the least talented since 2015, but they won a national championship that year. So they were good in some spots, right? Thanks, Dane Caldwell. I appreciate it, man. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. Randy goes 8-4. I am too, man. That'd be great. So, Hobnail Boot, I got to remember not to fight with you on Twitter because you are a good dude. There's so many of y'all that I have fought with over the 87 fucking accounts that I've had to have. All right. So he did bring up, he said, does a 9-3 Bama go to the SEC title game? Would it be better for them not to go? I don't think 9-3 Bama goes to the SEC title game. I think that would be tough considering everyone else. It's best for them. It's best for everyone not to go. Like, if they're 10-2, I don't want them going at all. Rest up. Like, there's becoming very little advantage from what I can see right now through 6 weeks of the season and the setup and the way the season's panned out so far, right? It feels like there's very little advantage to going to the SEC championship game. Maybe I'm wrong. But it doesn't feel like there's a huge advantage for them or anyone to go. Same with Georgia, same with Tennessee. Like, I'll tell you what is interesting, and I don't know if I'm right about this or not because it's so early, but Bama, Tennessee, while it already felt huge, now feels even bigger because the loser of that game can't lose again the rest of the year. And the winner of that game is probably going to be have a good chance to get to the like if Tennessee loses, it beats Bama but loses to Georgia, they're 10-2 with a loss at Georgia, but a win against Bama and a loss to an unranked team. If Bama loses at Tennessee, now they get 2 losses, they have to win out. And then they get I don't fucking know. It's the whole thing's confusing, but that's about it, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Allie thought there'd be no one that would be paying attention. So we got 600 of you in the chat. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll be back tomorrow, or I think Monday. We'll be back. Tyler just moved into a new house. That was one of the reasons we took off last week. He's got a lot of stuff going on. I had a lot of stuff going on. His was fun stuff. Mine wasn't bad, but it was just like he got a new house, so he's moving into that. So I think he has internet coming in on Monday. So we will be back, we promise. And that's it. So he's I think FSU lost. He did text me, he goes, "Welcome to the suck." And I was like, yeah, all right. I mean, you guys are 1-5. All right, here's a final thought for you. I'm watching this Arkansas highlights, and they made it 14-13 or whatever before they scored the go-ahead touchdown. The celebration, fucking stop. Like it's like not even because it's like offensive or weird or stupid or inappropriate. What benefits coming out of that? Like it's like you're almost certainly at some point going to get flagged after you scored a touchdown or made a big play by pretending to shoot a gun. If you're Dylan Stewart from South Carolina, who shot a gun or fake gun, like a one of these, he did it at the player at Jackson Dart when he was down 24-3. The fuck are we doing? Dumb as hell. Anyway, all right. I love y'all. I hope you have a fantastic night. We will be back tomorrow or Monday, like I said. Make sure you're checking out all the stuff on social media. We got a bunch of stuff out there. Listen, it does sound like a janky internet's been kind of janky, but we'll be back. Make sure you're checking out all of the stuff on social media. Louisianasports.net. Louisianasports.net. We got a ton of shit. If you love the deep dives, you love social media, all that kind of stuff, y'all go check it out. All right. Love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye.